I'm back in the chair again for day 2. Some extenuating circumstances have put me again here at 9 o'clock at night. So I'm going to talk about the Israel-Palestine conflict. I'm just kidding. What I actually want to talk about a little bit is fitness culture a bit. Now I've talked about this before. I'm passionate about it. And it tends to split the room, my opinion on it, and I'm okay with that because I can only speak from my own personal experiences and my own personal journey. I think that so much of fitness, while it is mainly talked about as a way to improve yourself and make you feel better, which I think is the most important thing, and I think ultimately is the most received benefit from people who change some sort of metric in their life, whether it be through diet or exercise. You do just feel better. It's guaranteed. You hear all the time people say like, well, I tried running every day for a week, but what feels good about fitness and what gets results is long-term habit, and long-term habit is really difficult not only to build but then to maintain. So there's lots of times where it doesn't feel good, and in the beginning it just doesn't feel good. It takes a very long time for it to feel good, and then when it does, it's much more manageable, it's much more enjoyable, and you see the results that you're looking for ultimately. And what I see both in myself previously and what I've seen in other people is that they start pursuing something, fitness, whether it's diet or exercise, and they're just impatient. It's easy to be impatient because not only do we as humans, we're set up to be impatient, we want fast results, we want fast satisfaction, but also the system is set up to discourage us from being patient, both through the types of foods that we're offered, the type of lifestyles that we're offered, the type of lifestyles that are held as luxurious or comfortable. And also, I think it's some of the fitness industry itself that discourages you from feeling like you're making progress. And there's sort of two thought processes there, two like sides of the coin. You have the one side of the coin, which is sort of this Instagram fitness. You know, it's like the typical thing that's shunned of like body image stuff, which is that in order to be healthy or in order to be successful in fitness, you basically have to have like a shredded 6-pack of abs. But I don't think that's an honest depiction of what fitness or health is. I think while you can be very healthy with a 6-pack, you can also be very unhealthy with a 6-pack, because ultimately what you're measuring when you're looking at what is healthy and what's not is certain nutritional and biometric markers, and also how good you feel. I mean, that's really what it comes down to all the time. But the other thing is you got to understand that your bar for what feels good might not be calibrated. Because if you spend your entire life never exercising and never having a balanced diet, because you don't know any different, you're going to say, well, I feel fine, I feel good. But then if you ever experience a life where you are eating healthier and you're exercising more, that bar may move where it's like, oh, I felt really good when I did that. But again, it goes back to that takes some time. It takes time to recalibrate that bar. And there is I think there's like an open door acceptance to fitness that I think while it's healthy, it can often be misleading. I see it in a lot of different gyms. I'm just going to use Planet Fitness as an example. Planet Fitness is a gym that I think is made for the person who is not necessarily looking to get the shredded 6-pack of abs, but they want to lose weight. They want to feel better, or maybe they have a doctor who told them that you have to lose weight or whatever. So they go to Planet Fitness and they do 2 miles on the treadmill, walking, running, whatever. That's fantastic. That's phenomenal. That's a great start. But I don't think that is going to give you those feel good results in a way that's going to encourage you to pursue it more seriously, right? And I don't mean seriously like you're doing all the macros and all that. I mean seriously as in establishing a long-term healthy habit. Ultimately, that habit has to outpace whatever negative lifestyle that you have built into yourself. So if you are someone like myself, I sit a lot all day. I have a terrible relationship with food. I have a massive sweet tooth. I am definitely prone to binge eating, and I have to fight that. And so I have to make sure that my physical abilities outpace that And that takes a ton of work, because as much as I've tried personally, and this isn't the case for everybody, as much as I've tried to subdue some of those things, like having a sedentary lifestyle and having a terrible relationship with food, it is much easier for me to try and outpace that with certain habits that I can do, whether it be doing at least temporary dieting or establishing a good physical exercise routine. I have to outpace those things, and it takes a lot of work. But here's where it starts to get toxic, is that level of work is different for everybody. And that level of work is more and less work for everybody. So while I feel like I have to do double what some people have to do to achieve half, other people might feel differently, or it's harder or easier. I just think if I were to go back in time to a 2014 version of myself that was very overweight, had a terrible diet, horrendously depressed because of, in my opinion, because of those two things, the one piece of information that I think I would want somebody to tell me is that in order to change my life, in order to feel less depressed and to become less fat, I will have to do something very hard for a very long time, and I will not see a true long-term difference until I do it for so long that it doesn't even feel like I'm doing it anymore. Does that make sense? I think the difficulty of making a healthy change in your life is underplayed. And I think that is what discourages people from making fitness, whether it's through diet, exercise, or both, it discourages them from making that a long-term choice. Because that's what it is. It's lifelong. It's like getting a job. You just got to get those paychecks and make incremental increases over time, because there's no get rich quick. There is absolutely no get rich quick in health. There is no fad. There is no easy way to do it. There's no quick way to do it. It just is going to be hard. You can condense that difficulty, or you can spread it out over time, but there is no way to condense it and make it easier. It's just not going to happen. And I see stuff sold online at gyms through marketing that, in my opinion, says otherwise, says there is an easy way to get healthy. And I don't think that's true. That might be true. That might be more or less true with certain body types, with certain demographics, with certain baseline health situations. But in general, I think it's much harder. And I'm speaking for myself as somebody who loves fitness, but still feels the struggle of it every single day. I don't see the results that I wish I was seeing every single day. And I don't know. It's like anything else. It's even like with my own career. I really struggle with looking at my career and saying, wow, look at all I've accomplished. Because all I can see is how much I have to go from where I would like to be. And that's how I feel with everything in terms of health and fitness. But I will say this, it's absolutely worth it. It's worth it. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. Did that make sense? It's so hard to talk about this without just being super cringy and or condescending. I don't know how to tackle this topic. I've tried it a couple times, and I never feel satisfied with the way that I've articulated myself, because I only ever want to communicate. I don't know. I should just quit while I'm ahead. Yeesh.